This game's not won on social media. This game's not won on telephones. This game is won with shoulder pads, helmets, mouth guards, and sweat. That's how the game is won.
Welcome to week one of the Bill Nees' Coaches Show. With me is our head coach, Bill Nees. I'm your host, Chip Hare. Coach, tough loss opening up. However, when you look at the score, I think a lot of people may be surprised that the score was 12-7. As we've played them the last couple of years, the score had been high. We've been in the 30s and 40s in playing them. A real defensive struggle. Score was tied at half, 0-0, and then, of course, the second half things start to open up a little bit. Boy, Lima's a good football team. They're going to win a lot of games this year, and boy, we certainly can say we had our chances.
Well, we did. I think it came down to two big things, and there's things we stressed quite a bit, and that's turnovers and big plays. And we got on the board with a big play, and we had two or three other. If you were at the game, you had two or three other really nice situations where we could have had a big play. And I think they did also have a couple times where they had a couple big passes that were brought back for a hold or brought back for something along those lines. But I really felt that we should have been able to get at least two or three more scores on the board, due to our own kind of mechanical failure, so to speak. I was very proud of how the kids played. I was very proud of our continuing to battle and to get back. I think we showed some good effort, good speed on defense. I think offensively we've got a lot of potential. We saw that in our first two scrimmages, and I think we need to capitalize and continue to move on. It's not a situation where we had to sit down and somebody lost their job. We tore out 7 pages of the playbook and started over again. It's just something where realistically we need to get better at what we're doing. We want to try as coaches to continue to get better with our preparation.
Coach, one of the things that I was going to talk to you about today was scrimmages, so I'm glad you brought that up. In our scrimmages where we scrimmaged St. Mary's and then again with Northmont, we really were pretty, we were a different team offensively in those situations. Game certainly was, again, a different team, but we really do have, offensively, if you've seen us play in scrimmages, we really do have a lot of opportunities and some guys that really can get it done in those skill positions.
We do. We got a lot of people that are back, and we got some people that are very athletic back there. And what we've got to do again is we've got to continue to get those chances and get that confidence. We had great confidence level going, and not to say that we lost our confidence. I don't think we did on Friday night, but I think what we need to do is continue to get better and continue to grow offensively. With what we're going to do, we're throwing a lot of stuff at our guys on offense, a lot more than we have in the past, and we're not going to slow it down. We're going to continue to do it. We've stepped up the practices a little bit. We've added some minutes to a lot of the individual sessions and actually some of the team sessions. So we're making our point as to what we're trying to do.
Coach, when you look at that game in particular, there was a key defensive play that really put us in a position to go up when we did score 7-6, and that was they went for 2, which they do a lot of times, and they ran a very unique, what a lot of people will call a video game play. We've seen that. They ran that in the previous years that we played them. So again, preparation, our guys were ready for it. You could see they were ready for that particular.
They were, and it also helps when you prepare for something that you have a group of fast guys, and we are significantly faster on defense than we were last year.
Yeah, you could tell the speed for sure. Yeah, Coach. As we now move into week 2, we now move into the MVL season. Football is one of those. You get one non-league, and then the rest are conference, and they all matter. Week 2 is no different than week 6, week 10. Every single one of those games matter, no matter who we're playing. It starts with Tip City, and it's at their place, and a game where, of course, they have a lot of returners. But again, it's an MBL contest.
It is, and I think as you look through the course of the entire league, everybody has some people back. Everybody's got some very good people back. I don't think anybody significantly has a huge amount of people back in one particular spot, or whether or not it be offensive or defensively. And there's a lot of teams that I think are coming into the season very optimistic, as we are. And so I think that every week is going to be a struggle. I think every week you better come with your A game, because it doesn't matter what's going to happen here, because a lot of teams, like I said, have played good JV schedules last year. They got kids that come up. Your good programs, they graduate some people, and it's not necessarily, hey, that's bad news, because there's a lot of kids that now have that opportunity to come up and play. In our case, we have 3 guys that have not played significantly until their senior year, but they've grounded out every Saturday at JV football, and now it's almost like it's their time to prove it. And sometimes that's even better, that you have those guys that are hungry, that have paid their dues, that have sat on those dusty field on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock when there's not many people there except maybe parents and concession stand workers, and they pay the dues. They're ready to roll.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Of course, we can say with our program, I'm sure every team in the league can also say there's those 3 or 4 guys that are surprises, that they weren't on the roster last year, or as you said, maybe they didn't get that opportunity. They've been on the roster but didn't have that opportunity to play, and for whatever reason, the switch flips and they get their chance. And I anticipate that we're going to see those for the Indians throughout the year.
Definitely.
Yeah, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about Tip. It'll be our first road game, so it's a little different in that it's not a home game, so you have those changes of getting on a bus and going down there. But talk a little bit about what our focus is as we get ready for Tip City.
Well, I think offensively, the 3 parts are valuable. They're always well coached, they're always well prepared. I think their offense is going to revolve around, they have the quarterback and their running back, both first-team All-Leaguers back, and then they have a receiver that's back. So as we looked at their 2 scrimmages and things along those lines, we see that same type of thing. They offensively, they don't change a huge amount, but they always have a wrinkle. They always have something that you can't sit there and say, well, it's going to be 100% this, 100% that. So they do a good job that. Now, defensively, they run to the ball. They play defense similar to us, not in the same X's and O's, but the same. They have a system of how they want to play defense. They know their adjustments. They know what personnel fits in places, kind of like how we know with our defense. And so, it's a very sound defense. It's a defense that they're not going to be out of position and they're going to beat themselves. You're going to have to beat them. You're going to have to block them, and you're going to have to displace them, or you're going to have to throw balls where they're not, et cetera, et cetera. And then special teams, again, I like to think, like our program, most programs that have done well over a period of time don't beat themselves on special teams. You never want to get a penalty on special teams. You always want to make sure that field position is at least in your favor. Sometimes you can get a big play. Boy, it'd be nice, to get a big play on special teams. But if at least you break even, no penalties, you get that ball back, you maintain that possession, or you kind of end every possession, so to speak, with a kick. Meaning, if you didn't turn the ball over, you're either punting it, or you're kicking a field goal, or you're kicking an extra point. Right. One of those 3. So end every possession with a kick, and I think you're usually pretty good.
Well, you talk about special teams, and I look at the history between Piqua and Tip for the last several years, and special teams has come into play for both teams in being successful. So I wouldn't expect Friday night to be any different special teams.
No, and we got to make sure that we're sound. I know 2 years ago we had a tough call on a punt, and this past year we came out at halftime. We didn't move the ball, and we put our punt team on, and we ended up and kind of shanked the ball a little bit on the punt, gave them a short field. They scored, and then I think that was kind of the momentum that got them going a little bit too. So in both cases, the punt has been an important role, and it could be anything. It could be whatever the case may be.
Well, Coach, we certainly wish you guys luck as we move down to Tip City on Friday night. But two of the guys that are going to be on the field we're going to talk to today, John Hess and Zaydyn Allen, who have been key players for us, not just in this 25 campaign so far, but returners and guys that have been real good leaders for us. Talk a little bit about those two guys.
Well, I think those guys, they've both been 3-year starters. And it's interesting because we just came from the film room, and I went back and got some film from 2 years ago when Tip was here, and you almost forget that those guys had changed their numbers over the course. And some of these guys, it used to be when you were in high school, your number was your number, and now people like, if the number's available, I'll take this. If the number's available, I'll take this. And anyway, through the course of the game, I looked, I'm looking over, and I was like, Hess, Zaydyn, is that you guys? You're still there? I mean, you're playing at that point. And then the worst thing is, I looked over, and the two ball boys that are standing on the sideline the following year, there's two little ball boys over there, and both of those guys are starting on our defense also.
Right.
All right. Well, excuse me, starting at our H-back and then starting at outside linebacker. So, it's interesting with John and Zaydyn, the fact that they've been in this program, it seems like, for a long time, because they have been 3-year starters, great leadership. Zaydyn really helps the situation that if I call a defense and it's not really something that's perfect, that's, someone comes out with a set that we really didn't want to do that to, I can get him to get out of those defenses. And John's just a mover, and I think he's really enjoying playing 1.5 ways, carrying the football. I mean, he really relishes carrying the football.
Oh yeah.
And when he gets the football in his hand, he runs the ball with a certain amount of anger, and I appreciate how he carries the football.
Well, both of those guys, if you don't know them, they're quiet guys. They're quiet leaders, but yet passionate leaders, and they aren't afraid to speak up when they need to speak up and encourage people. But you talk about two guys that just love the game of football. They love football, and you can see it by the way they play and the way they act also off the field.
Oh, definitely, and the preparation and everything. Whether or not it be the weight room, whether or not it be, they have their own group. Him, John and Zaydyn have their own lifting group, and occasionally we'll put somebody else in, and it's like the person, we had to go to hell for a while.
Yeah,
Can I get out of this group and go somewhere else for a while? Because they put new meaning in the word extra reps, and your last rep should go until you fail.
They push.
They put it in there.
Yeah. Well, both of those guys certainly. We look forward to seeing those guys play the rest of this year, as I know those guys will certainly be not just statistically at the top, but also guys that you can count on in this locker room.
Definitely.
Coach, we wish you all the best as you go down to Tip. We're going to talk to Zaydyn and John when we return. We're going to talk a little bit about what the expectations and what they're looking forward to the 25 football season, and just their thoughts on Piqua football when we return. Welcome to the players portion of the Bill Nees' Coaches Show, brought to you by Dick Lumpkin's Auto Body. Guys, go ahead and introduce your names and the positions you play.
My name is Zaydyn Allen. I play running back, middle linebacker, and H-back.
My name is John Hess. I play running back, H-back, and outside linebacker.
That's a lot of positions. Hey, guys, let's talk a little bit about Friday night. I know it wasn't the outcome we were looking for, but just for it's your senior year, you guys are obviously been put a lot of time and effort into it. What's it like to play at Alexander Stadium? It's a pretty special place. We talk a lot about that, and guys in the past have talked a lot about that. Former players come back and say, hey, this place is pretty special. What's it like to play on a Friday night here?
I think it's very great because, we have one of the best stadiums in NVO, I think, especially with, how it's built and all, the track and the seats and stuff. I really like walking out and seeing all the fans and stuff.
I think it's really special, especially, before the games, we get the big inflatable Indian head out. We're sitting in there getting ready to go. It's really hypes you up, and it's kind of really nice to come home and play here compared to every stadium in the NBL.
Yeah, I think certainly playing Alexander Stadium has a different feel to it than some of the other stadiums, and we're really fortunate to have that. Let's talk a little bit about your senior year. Piqua football, it's been a big part of your guys' lives. Both of you have really kind of been ingrained in you. Mr. Hess, I'm just going to have that conversation with you first. What does that What does Piqua football mean to you, and what's it been like for an experience for you?
It's been really good to me my whole life. It's always been here. I've played my entire life pretty much since, Pee-wee up to now. It's something you always go home and think about no matter what time of year it is. It's in the wintertime, you're thinking about football. Summertime comes around, you're thinking about football practice starting up. It's just something to look forward to every year.
Thanks, Sean. Zaydyn?
I think it's special also because it's always something that you have to fall back on. Like anything you're doing really, like no matter if it's like going to the gym or just like you want anything to do, and it's always like you can rely on football to come back to.
Yeah, I think for you guys, and you guys have been starters for multiple years. You guys have been a part of the, not just during football season, but you've got the weightlifting and all those things that go in the summer. Summer's a big part of what you guys do, including with the winter when you guys start in January. And weights is a big part of the program. But another part of this is preparation. Film and scouting reports and all those things. So for you guys, you got to feel like when you're going into a game on Friday night, you guys are prepared with what the coach is giving you. Okay. Guys, your senior year, you've got 9 more weeks. There's a lot of football to be played. Anything that you guys are look forward to your senior year? It might be a game, it might be an event, it might be a series of games. Is there anything in particular about your senior year you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to both of our rivalry games being away. I enjoy them. Like being home is one feeling, but also playing them away in their other stadium, and I'm looking forward to coming home with a win.
It's a different energy with that, yeah. John?
I would have to agree with both the rivalry games. Like coming home with the trophy, it's going to be really nice. And coming home with that helmet is also going to be nice.
Yeah. We talk about Piqua being fortunate. We're in the MVL and there's several rivalries within that league, but obviously, as you guys are referring to the Sydney and Troy game, those are big. But we take 1 week at a time. That's the one thing I think Coach Nees really does a good job of, is really locking in on the next opponent. And the next opponent, of course, is Tip City, and that's going to be our first road game. And it'll be certainly a great test for us. Guys, let's move back beyond football. Let's talk a little bit about what's high school going to look like, because Alexander Stadium in June will be a little different. We'll have a different ambiance. They'll still have a lot of energy and positive that. It's graduation. What's your thoughts and plans? And maybe you don't have any yet, but thinking beyond just graduating, what's your thoughts on post-high school?
I'm undecided on whether or not if I want to go to college and play ball or if I just want to go straight into the workforce.
Yeah, mine's really looking like maybe taking a few classes at Edison or something like that, or if like an offer comes that I really want to go there. I'm just kind of undecided.
Keeping your options open at this point. Yeah, you guys got a lot. In fact, you haven't even started your senior year in the classroom. You guys start that on Tuesday, and your schedule starts to change and a little bit of a routine. But we wish you guys all the best your senior year, and certainly as you guys go week by week into your season.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We thank you all for, again, joining us here for the Bill Nees' Coaches Show. Just a reminder, you can catch the Coach Nees show, on the Indian Nation station, the live YouTube channel that we now have. Please go to that at the YouTube Indian Nation station YouTube channel. For John and Zaydyn, I'm your host, Chip Hare. Again, the Indians kick it off at Tip City on Friday night. We'll see you next week here on the Bill Nees' Coaches Show.